Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Welcome to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Zach,
And I'm Pepper.
and for today's video, we're going to be going over all the games we played in the month of September.
Your birth month.
It was my
So
birth
you
month.
got to get some new games for your birthday and play some as well.
Yeah, so yeah, I remember, I think last month we said too that we were going to have the Not Your Average board game tournament, and this year, it was the third annual one, we had a little bit of a theme for it, and that was Dice Dice Baby. So
If you can crack that code.
all the games we played in that ended up having some form of dice in them or something. Some a little more than others, obviously, but
Yep.
we got back to some dice-driven games that maybe some of us hadn't ever played before or hadn't played in a little bit. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was a good month, a good, maybe even great month for games. But yeah, so start us off. There were a few games that aren't currently here. Remember what those were that we
yes.
played at the tournament?
In the tournament, I believe there were 4 games. Sagrada, which I believe your brother-in-law owns.
Yep.
Dungeon Academy, your sister-in-law owns.
Yep.
Along with Era, Medieval Age, which I
Yep.
think is also your brother-in-law's, as well as Tumblin' Dice, which is Taylor's, your friend's.
Yeah. So yeah, it was mainly just games that we don't own, but we played in the tournament. Where I think I don't know that we played anything. I don't think there was anything else that we didn't have here
No.
that we didn't play. So those were all some dice-driven games.
Yes.
And
sure.
then kind of starting over there, what did we play? I don't know if you played all
I
of
did
these,
not
but
play this, but I believe you went and visited your friend Taylor, and you played.
well, he came here, but yeah.
Or he came here. Maybe you should go there for once. But yeah, you guys played Mystic Vale.
Yes, we played Mystic Vale. That was a new one to him. I believe he hadn't played it. And that same night, we played Project L a couple times. And then I feel like that. Oh yeah, and we played Canvas as well. So yeah, that was a good night. They just came for a night and then left early the next morning. So wasn't that much time for games, but we were able to get a few in for that. So yeah.
And yeah, for your birthday, we had gotten you Nidavellir with the Thing of Lear expansion, so we played that a few times this month. The Quacks of Quedlinburg, the second expansion we got for you.
Yep.
So that's down here.
The Alchemist expansion, which
Yes.
adds a whole another, pretty much a whole new player board.
Takes up about as much space as all these games.
Right. Yeah, if you get a whole 5-player game of that, you're going to need a pretty large table in order to keep everything on there for that game now, especially if you also have the Herb, which is expansion. But yeah, so then I think, what else did we... Oh yeah,
Oh,
the big game for my birthday. Didn't get it right away.
no.
It was a little delayed, but Too Many Bones was one we played a couple times.
A couple times,
That,
yep.
but that definitely was probably minute for minute, hour for hour, the longest game we played out of everything else here.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. But yeah, and then Tekkenu was one that I forced you to
Yes.
learn so that I'd finally get to play that as well. It was one that had kind of been on my want to play list, but had been on the shelf of shame or opportunity for a while. And what else do we
And
have?
we played Broom Service, the card game.
Oh, yes.
What else? What else? Ooh.
So then
yeah.
we kind of got into the tournament.
Yes.
There's a lot of these other games here.
Yeah, you and Mac, you had taught her Rajas.
Oh yeah,
the
Branches of
Ganges.
the Ganges was one, and I believe she really enjoyed it. I would guess that was probably her favorite game from the month, if I had to guess. 'Cause I wasn't sure how she'd feel about it. I know it's not the most complex game, but there are a few things to it that I wasn't 100% sure how she'd like it or not, but she really seemed to have a really good time with that one. So I would think that was probably her favorite play from the entire month.
Yeah. And yeah, the other tournament games that we do have here, we played Space Base,
Yep.
which is always a fun time playing that one. Camel Up,
Mm-hmm.
another quick, fun dice game.
Yeah, and luckily for a lot of these, you can play with little
Oh,
higher player
yeah,
counts,
yep.
5 or more players for some of them.
Yep.
And then-
Got Stone Age back to the table, and I believe you guys have played this another time this month too.
Yes, I believe so. So that one during the tournament was played 3 times. This is one of the games in our 10 by 10, which is still not going that well. I think we finally broke over halfway with only a quarter of the year left. So we'll see how that plays out. But we were able to mark 4 plays off after because the tournament we played it in 3 different groups. So I just counted all of those in our plays, even though we might not have necessarily played in all those plays. I'm counting it.
Yeah. Other ones, Railroad Inc.
Mhm.
Taylor has a couple copies of that as well, so we were able to play a whole 9-player game in the tournament.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, as well as the 10 by 10.
Yeah.
The other day we got, I believe,
One more game of
Lanterns. The
Lanterns
Harvest
in.
Festival is on there, so we
Mhm.
got to cross off a
play of
game
that.
there.
Yep. So, and then another one that we got back to after I don't think I'd played it in a little while because it's not one of Michaela's favorites. I think she's only played it once, so maybe it could grow on her yet. But after her first play, she hasn't been that interested of going back to it. So luckily, with you here, you pulled it out so that we were able to play it. And if you look at our top 50 games of all time, you look at my top
After
10, you can maybe
yeah.
find out where it is on mine currently, or was.
After
Or,
the Empire made quite the debut.
it did, definitely.
From there, new game, Steampunk Rally Fusion, Atomic Edition, so it's going to get both the base game as well as the newer version as well in there. And we played with just some of the base game stuff for our first play.
Mhm.
Looking forward to playing that some more next month.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, it's a shame I opened that one, or we opened that kind of after the tournament.
yep.
But that is also a dice-driven game,
Yeah.
so fits kind of
So, yeah,
the theme
even-
of the month.
Even the games that weren't in the tournament, a couple of them, like Too Many Bones, Rajas, Steampunk Rally, all of them do feature dice very prominently.
Yes, so September was definitely a dice. Oh wait, did you say Takenu as well?
Oh yeah, Takenu,
So,
also
yeah.
dice driven.
Yeah, that was very dice-driven month for sure. And then last but not least, another birthday game was Cash Card. I always want to say Cashmere. I don't know why. That's just what I saw the first time, and it's in my mind. It's stuck, even though yeah. But yeah, that was the last game we played. Does not have dice in it.
No.
It just mainly cards, and then you have a board with some different wooden pieces on it. So, yeah.
I believe that is all the games here. So hard to see exactly.
Right. Yeah, for sure. There's
There's-
definitely a lot of games. We got a lot of games played in September. It was
Yeah.
a really good month.
Good month.
Did you have a favorite play from September at all?
I think that's got to be pretty close between. I think it might be a 3-way tie. I always love
It's a
after.
three-way tie.
Always love After the Empire.
Okay.
But I really enjoyed our first 2 playthroughs of Too Many Bones, getting to learn that one. As well as Tumbling Dice. That game is just so much fun.
Mhm. Yeah, we played a slightly altered version, so we
yes.
didn't use like the D6s, but we used like a
Like every
D&D set of
Yeah.
dice type thing.
Gave everyone a set of
So
those.
yeah, you had like 2 D10s and a D6 and a D4,
D20,
D20.
D6.
Yeah, so that was really fun. I would agree that was probably that whole tournament was probably one of my favorite days of gaming for sure
Yeah.
in the month. But then I also, like you said, I really enjoyed our first couple of plays of Too Many Bones, and definitely look forward to getting that one back to the table, even though it may take a little bit of time. But actually, the shocking thing to me is I had you set these up, and I think it's right, but I am shocked. This might be the first month that we've done one of these videos that Tapestry has not
Oh,
made it on
my.
the table. And
There's
is there
not-
even a
there's not
Stonemaier?
even a Stonemaier.
That is
There's not a Stonemaier or a Garfield game.
That is shocking to me because those are definitely
But
some.
Quacks is still here.
Quacks made the list. It makes the list every month, so it's hanging strong.
No,
Yeah,
that is
It's a little
amazing.
surprising, especially since it's my birthday month. I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Might have to force you to play Tapestry so we make sure to get it in October. But yeah, I really enjoyed, especially it was a lot of new games to me as well, and all the dice games. Kind of getting back
Yeah.
to some games I hadn't played in a
Yeah,
while.
I learned quite a few in the tournament. 3-4 new games to me.
Mhm.
And yeah, that whole tournament was a great time.
But yeah, otherwise, what did you play in September? Any fun games? Any new games? Any games you got back to that you hadn't played in a while?
Did you have a Dice Baby tournament of your own?
Right.
By any chance?
Are there any games here that you have any thoughts on or questions on, or do you like? Is this the kind of games that you're usually into, or do you have any suggestions of new games based on kind of what we have out here that we might like? Leave them in the comments below. But otherwise, I think we will talk to you next month. And as always, don't forget to
Keep on nibbling.